I read a comment on a blog post the other day that said, well, I only have 30 minutes a day to work out, and that's not enough. So because they only had 30 minutes a day to work out and it wasn't enough, they just didn't do it at all. Here's the problem. You have 30 minutes to work out. That's a significant amount of time. And if you make those 30 minutes count, and you do it every single day, it's going to add up to that bigger picture. This is what I'm seeing a lot with preppers right now as well. They say, well, I don't have a lot of time. Great, what time do you have? Where can you squeeze this in, okay? Because there's so much that you can do to progress towards the bigger picture. Everybody wants to do the big things all the time. You can't. A while ago, I did a series called Prepping in 10 Minutes or Less. If you want me to bring that series back, let me know. And I showed people that what they could do in 10 minutes or less. 10 minutes, not even 30 minutes, okay? I have a whole list on my blog that I wrote years ago. I should probably update to add even more, but it was 50 things you can do in 10 minutes or less. Some of these might take 30 minutes or so, depending on what you're, where you are in your progression or whatever in your skill level. But I'm going to link that down below in the description. And if you want me to bring that series back, let me know. But I'm going to talk about 30 things that you can do in 30 minutes or less to get prepared. 30 minutes every single day. You could just do 10 minutes. And then when you're doing these little things, you're going to start getting in the habit. You're going to be like, okay, well, what am I going to do today? And it's going to be really exciting. And you can do the same thing, multiple times. Like I can learn to create fire a couple times a month, right? I can, do these things multiple times a month. You don't have to do something new every single day. I suggest printing out this list from my blog post, the link down below in the description, as well as keeping a list of things that you're doing to make sure you're keeping yourself on track. You'd be like, okay, this time I did fire starting. Maybe today I'll inventory a kit. Okay. Hi everyone, Morgan here. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first one is learn to tie knots. Get a book. Really super simple. If I can teach my kids how to tie some knots in like 10 minutes or less, you can do it too. Okay. Make a fire starter. So there's lots of ways to make fire starters, and these basically you could just take a cotton ball, some Vaseline, stick it together, done, right? And making fire starters is super quick and easy. Lots of ways to do it. Again, it's down below in the link in the description to go check out that blog post that actually has a link to make some fire starters. Go people watching. If you want to leave your home and go get some Starbucks or whatever, why don't you just sit down and people watch for a little bit? It is a great tool in your situational awareness because you'll start seeing so many different things and things that people do, and you're going to start learning behavior of people so that you can be more situationally aware and understand how people react in certain situations. Read a book. Right? Just read a book for 30 minutes. I'm sure there's lots of books, your ebook or a physical book that you could just browse through, right? Like, don't even take it too seriously. Don't be like, okay, I have to finish this book. No, just like read a chapter, okay? Read half a chapter, read a few pages. Don't take this so seriously. You can progress to finishing the book. You don't have to finish the whole book all at once, okay? And on that note, you can watch a couple of YouTube videos. Thank you so much for watching, spending your valuable time watching this video and all my other videos. You are amazing. But YouTube videos can be an amazing way for us to improve. I always try to watch at least 1 or 2 videos a day, just to increase my knowledge and understanding and to be part of the community and stuff like that. But also just for various other reasons. But watching YouTube videos is one of the best ways. You could watch a YouTube video while you work out. Yeah, stack it, okay? So in addition to reading a book and watching YouTube videos, of course, read some blogs. I have a blog down below, which has lots of blogs that you could read. So go ahead and, just research something. Like if there's something you want to learn, then go ahead and just type it into Google and be like, okay, Google, I want to learn this, and then read some blog posts. You might go down a rabbit hole. Pretty sure that's going to happen. That always happens when you search Google, but enjoy the process. Play Conflicted the card game. And this card game can be played by yourself, of course, but it's fun to play with other people, your family, friends, whoever. But you can play it by yourself because what it is it's questions on cards. So you pick a card and you're like, you read the question and then you answer it. So you can answer it yourself, and it kind of gets you thinking, and that can spark other preparedness things in your life. You're like, you know what? I've never thought about such and such. How would I be prepared for that? So again, you might be going down a rabbit hole, but you'll enjoy it. You can make a 1-minute paracord bracelet. I still have this bracelet and carry it around. I made this in like 2019. I still have it and carry it around. One of the easiest things I've ever made. I actually have a video about that, and I linked it in that blog post. Practice dry firing. So if you do have a firearm, go ahead and just spend some, time practicing dry firing. I try to do it about 10 or 15 minutes a day. Sometimes I falter, but whatever. I try to get it in at least once or twice a week. And I use the Mantis X system. I've done a couple videos about that, but I use that system so that I can see what I'm doing wrong and how to improve. So I'm pregnant right now, so I'm not going to the range. So I dry fire a lot more than I usually would these days to make sure that my skills are staying sharp while I'm pregnant. All right, so rotate food storage. So when I say this, I mean like you want to go through and make sure that your food storage is kind of organized. So you can go through like your canned goods and say, okay, are my, older ones up front and my newer ones are in back? You can kind of go through and organize it a little bit and make sure that your food is getting rotated properly. If you see anything that needs to be taken out, take it out, right? Okay, inventory a small kit. So let's say there's like a kit, like a blackout kit or a first aid kit that you're like, you know what? Pretty sure I need to add some stuff to that. Go ahead and take that kit out, look through it, write a list down of things you need to inventory it. There's lots of first aid kits out there that I'm just like, you know what? I'm pretty sure it needs Band-Aids. I'm pretty sure it needs some things. So go ahead and inventory those kits. Just one kit, pick one and inventory it and get it done up. Check your batteries to make sure they're all still good. There is one, it's a rechargeable light bulb. I did a video of it a while ago, and while I love the rechargeable light bulb, it actually loses charge quite a bit. So I'm constantly having to check on it and charge it, so that's one thing that I do quite a bit. I go through and I check the stuff and I make sure that my batteries are all charged, like my external batteries, my rechargeable batteries, any of these kinds of things, even my solar power banks. I make sure that those are nice and charged up. I'll press all the buttons and just make sure that they're all good. So check your first aid supplies. Like I was just saying about checking a small kit, you could check your first aid supplies in general. So go throughout your home and do you have enough Band-Aids? Do you have enough gauze? Do you have enough medical tape? Do you have enough alcohol? Iodine? Do you have enough, basic emergency or basic first aid supplies? And then you could look for more things like, do you have tourniquets? Do you have like a staple gun? Do you have more advanced first aid supplies as well? And if you don't, you could write that stuff down and be like, you know what else could I need? Okay, so the next one is sharpen a knife. We really need to sharpen our knives. As I'm talking about this, my husband and I were just talking about it. We have a work sharp, and it's so quick and easy to sharpen the knife. It takes us literally less than 30 minutes to sharpen all of our knives. So check your medications. So while we were talking about first aid supplies, also you want to check your medications. Again, this is not something you're going to do like every day or even every month. Maybe you'll do it like every few months or something like that. But this is something you can do in under 30 minutes, right? Go to your medicine cabinet, look at the expiration dates, things that you don't use very much. And maybe you could start getting new ones and start rotating out some of the old ones. Obviously, best buy dates are just best buy dates, but we still want to be conscious of the best buy dates and realize that certain medications can have a half-life and they would become less potent over time. So we want to be rotating those out as much as we possibly can as well. Meditate. Yeah, just spend like 10-15 minutes just meditating. I have a meditation app. Just go look into your app store and search meditation, and you'll see some meditation apps that will actually guide you through the entire process, okay? You don't even have to think about it. The app will do it for you. Go for a brisk walk. It's been hot here and I really don't want to get outside that much. I'm hot and pregnant and I'm just like, I don't want to get outside that much. It's so hot. So I tried in the morning and in the evenings, I will do a 20-minute brisk walk just inside my home. I make it a game with my kids. We put on music, we make it a game, we make it like really fun, and we all get exercise and we all are walking around the house. It's 20 minutes of like a speed walk around just inside of the house. It's 20 minutes. I put a timer on, I put the music on, and we just go. It's great. I love it. And it has been great. So many people think, well, I got to go to the park, or I got to get my exercise equipment, or I got to do this. No, stop overthinking it. Just do something. Some movement is better than no movement. Start a fire in your barbecue or a fire pit. So if you live in an apartment, not usually, but sometimes apartments will have like the communal barbecue pits. So you could go do that. If you have like a solo stove, something like that, you could start one. If you have like a hobo stove that you've made, or a rocket stove that you can put outside on a concrete and like start a little fire. It's just something fun, just practice your fire making skills. That's basically all it is. Check your smoke detectors. So these are things that can be done so fast, right? Mine are always blinking. It's pretty annoying actually, but it does let me know that they're working. But you could always just, press the little test button, make sure they're all working in good order. So make sure your fire extinguishers are up to date. Where are your fire extinguishers? Do you even know? Where are they in your home? So find your fire extinguishers. Make sure that they look updated. And if they haven't, you can take them to local places. You can just search, where, like fire extinguishers, your area, that kind of thing. Fire stations will usually be able to tell you where to update those or to recharge them. You could also just purchase a new fire extinguisher if you needed to. So put batteries in your flashlights to make sure they work. So I try not to keep batteries in my flashlights unless it's like an EDC battery, or EDC flashlight. So the other day I actually put batteries in a flashlight and it wasn't working. So it was a really good thing that I went through all my flashlights and made sure that one, they were charged, or two, that I put batteries in and made sure that they were working. I think one time, just one of the flashlights were just dead. I don't know, the button wasn't working, nothing was working, it didn't look corroded. Anyway, whatever. You want to just check your flashlights, okay? Write a list of prepper goals. So this is a simple task. Just sit down with a piece of paper, write some prepper goals that you want to accomplish. So, a lot of these things that we're doing, are very, very simple. And maybe you have bigger goals, right? So you want land one day. You want to be able to produce all your food for the year. You want to preserve more food. What are your prepper goals? Just write it down. And this can be a great way for you to see the bigger picture through all these smaller tasks, right? And make sure that you are reaching those bigger goals through these smaller tasks. And then in addition to goals, the next one is going to be write a wish list of gear that you want, right? So let's say you've always wanted a plate carrier, okay? How much is that? Let's say you've always wanted a Mira, gas mask. Well, how much is that and how much could you get it? Let's say you want a Berkey filter. If that's your wish list gear, right? Well, how much are these things? Write them down, research it a little bit, and then go and actually figure out how can I make this work for me on my budget? Maybe I can save $20 every paycheck towards that specific gear or something like that. So the next one is research past disasters and learn from them. There have been some big floods and fires and things around this area. And so you can research those and say, okay, well, what happened and how could I be prepared for those things? How would you be prepared for some massive flood or some massive wildfire in your area? And these things are happening right now, right? If you live in a hurricane or tornado prone areas or whatever area you live in, there's usually something, earthquakes, and look to the past so that we can be prepared for the future. All right, the next one is listen to a podcast. So podcasts are, my podcasts are usually more, the ones that I record are usually more than 30 minutes long. But you could get started on a podcast or you could stack it, right? So while you're making dinner, you could listen to a podcast. While you're exercising, you could listen to a podcast. While you are driving to work, you could listen to a podcast, right? And if you can't finish the whole thing, then just start it and then finish it later, right? Look for local self-defense classes in your area or prepper get-togethers or something like that. Really, I want you to look for classes in your area that have to do with self-defense, survival, first aid, any of these things that you want to learn more of. Go ahead and go online and research. Say, okay, well, I want to do this. I want to take a firearm self-defense class, right? put that into Google. Well, how much is it going to cost? When can I take it? You know, how's it going to fit in my budget? These kinds of things. So figure that out, and that could be a good use of your time, because then you can schedule that class into your time as well. Those classes are usually 30 or 45 minutes, so those would be a really good use of your time. So practice making feather sticks. So this is part of fire making, but you could practice making some feather sticks. I've had a couple videos about this. They're super fun, and they can help you make fires a little bit easier. But yeah, feather sticking is really fun. Just a fun thing to do. And then the next one is also about fire starting, but practice using a ferro rod. A lot of people rely on Bics and matches, but I love a good old ferrocerium rod and steel, and striking those two together. I just love it. And the ferrocerium rods last a really long time, and they can be done in just about any condition. Heat, cold, whatever, right? Where a Bic and a match or something, you know, wind, all these things where these other things might fail or might make it harder, okay? So practice that. And if you don't have it, go get it and then practice with it. And then once you've mastered the ferrocerium rod, you could learn how to practice with a flint and steel. So you get a flint rock and steel, and you could, start practicing with that. A lot of fire related stuff here, I know, but the rest of the list has way more stuff. This last thing we're going to talk about is actually try a canned food item you've never tried before. So if you go to the store and you're like, you know what, I see canned oysters or canned, what did my kid pick up the other day? Canned octopus. She picked up canned octopus. And we were like, let's try some canned octopus. And so, you could try it. And if you like it, you could add it to your preps, right? It was a little on the pricier side, I'm not going to lie. So I probably won't add that to my preps. I love octopus though. Yeah, so those are 30 things in 30 minutes or less that you could do pretty much at home. I didn't really mention too many things that you had to there were maybe a couple things that you had to go out and get first if you didn't already have it. But overall, these are things that you can just do at home. You don't even have to go out and do anything special. So 30 minutes or less. If you want me to bring back that series, let me know, of the 10 minutes or less series, but go and click on that link down below. You can print it, you can write your own list, add to it, do whatever, okay? Get that list and just start doing something, just a little bit every day. Just a little bit every day will start getting you in the habit, start getting you in the mindset, and we'll start creating this sense of preparedness because you are doing just a little bit all the time, working up to much bigger goals. Thank you all so much for watching. Conquer tomorrow by what? Preparing today. I'll talk to you later. Bye.